I was in an extremely personal and bitter war with Fuentes like 3 weeks ago. It mostly wasn't public, but Fuentes was attacking my father, a subject I have like literally no sense of humor. My father passed in March, and was really kind of the patriarch. Not kind of, he was the patriarch in our family and a hero to every person in our family. And some of what Fuentes was saying about my dad was, true, okay, which made it worse. But I was just so offended by that, I couldn't deal with it. And my son and my wife. So, I was really mad at Fuentes, and then I did an interview, and just out of the, I was so mad it like popped out, and I attacked Nick Fuentes. In this interview, this was last month, I think, ish. And then I got all these calls from people saying, do you know anything about, I don't know anything really about Nick Fuentes, other than he's attacking my dad, my wife, and my son. And it was like, actually, Nick Fuentes is the single most influential commentator among young men. Like, period.
He's got 5 million subscribers on Rumble.
It's bonkers. And I didn't know any of it. I mean, I'm 56, so I'll just like state the obvious, like
he's not our demo.
My oldest child is 31, like much older than Nick Fuentes. So I kind of missed a lot of this stuff. I pride myself on not missing things. I totally missed that. Really? And then it turns out that, he has no advertisers. They've been trying to cancel him since freshman year in college. Ben Shapiro actually tried to shut him down freshman year in college, and it didn't work. In fact, it had the opposite effect. So I was like, and so then I talked to a million people I know, like, maybe I should interview Nick Fuentes to hear what is this actually? And so I decided to do it, and I thought it would be controversial. I didn't think it would become what it's become. I'm not going to offer any defense other than, it's kind of interesting. I've interviewed I'm doing this for 34 years, so I've interviewed everybody, most of them bad people, to be honest.
Right.
I interviewed Liberian militia leaders during the Liberian Civil War, all cannibals, every single one of them. It tasted human flesh. And first of all, I kind of like them, I'm just being honest, because I like people. Don't agree with cannibalism, pretty opposed.
For the record.
But I'm just that way. I just like people, and the closer, if you can like smell someone and talk to them, like it's hard to not see the human in the person, even if he's a cannibal.
Did the Liberian cannibal smell good?
Kind of rank, to be honest.
Yeah.
Actually, during the interview, I'll never
like
forget
chicken.
this. I was in Africa to cover the Civil War, and I'm interviewing this guy, and he was like, Commander Butt Naked, or it wasn't actually Commander Butt Naked, who was a famous militia leader during that war, who fought, needless to say, butt naked. But I'm interviewing this guy, and his cell phone goes off, and it's the Woody Woodpecker theme song. Da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh, you're human. It was like hilarious. Anyway, the point is, none of those were controversial. Like, I interview people who are hated, in some cases, like demonstrably evil, and I ask them, why did you do that? And what's your account of yourself? Like, tell me who you are. What do you believe? Mm-hmm. And that was the first thing I wanted to achieve at Nick Fuentes. Like, what is this? Tell me. I'll give you 2 hours. I have only watched your clips, are like a minute long. I want to hear, like, why don't you describe what you think? Because I think that's the small role that I play, which is to get documentary evidence of people describing what they think. I did it with Putin. I'll probably do it with every other bad person in the world, because I'm interested. Not because I agree with him, because I think it's interesting. And second, I wanted to say something very specific to Nick Fuentes, and it's this, and I said it, which is, I think it's totally legitimate to criticize any foreign country, from Belgium to Congo to Israel, because they're foreign countries.
Yes.
And I'll never give up that right. In fact, it's an obligation, I would say, and to be reasonable about it, and not, but what's in America's interest? Totally legitimate. It is totally illegitimate and very specifically unchristian to attack people for their DNA. Like, I hate this group.
You wanted him to hear that.
We all have to hear that. And because that is the basis of Western civilization. Western civilization is derived from the New Testament. It is based on Christian ethics. And the core difference between the West and the rest of the world, not just Israel, but every other country, is that we don't believe in collective punishment because we don't believe in blood guilt. We don't believe that you were born guilty, and we also don't believe that you're born virtuous. We believe that God created every person as an individual. God did not create communities. Every woman gives birth to a human being, and every person has the spark of God inside him. I mean, that's what we believe as Christians. And every person has the possibility of redemption. And in my religion, the great human hero, in Christianity, Jesus is God in human form. But the great human hero in the New Testament is its primary author, Paul, who was Saul of Tarsus, who was the primary persecutor as a Pharisee of Christians. He was murdering Christians.
It's funny for Tucker Carlson not to know that the interview with Nick Fuentes was gonna blow the internet apart. It's funny, right? I think he knew that the interview was gonna be very, very divisive. I think he knew that the interview was gonna be very, very chaotic. I mean, people who came across it or people who watch it are going to be either for or against. I think he decided to do it because he wanted to do it. And he thought to himself, well, this is just something that will help me gain more influence or more popularity. Or maybe simply because he can. Now, I'm not in the business of telling people what they should or shouldn't do. I think as an adult, you have the right to your choices, and you also must be willing to bear the repercussion from the choices you make. I don't think that anyone has the right to dictate who Tucker Carlson platforms. No one has the right to tell him what to do. It is his platform. He has the right to platform anyone he see fit. Now, let me say one more thing. It's funny to see Tucker Carlson surprised at the reaction from people in his own political party. For the longest time, he has been saying very, very outrageous things, especially when he worked at Fox News. He was really, really popular, and he said a lot of things that rally people behind him. Now, those things were very, very destructive, but he said them nevertheless. Because what? He was feeding the machine. That's what they always do, right? Now, I'm not saying that he is a bad person. I'm just saying that that is what they always do. They feed the machine. They feed the machine. The Republican Party is at a cross point in their whole being. No one is sure what direction it will take. Nick Fuentes is very popular with the young Republicans. So, why let a good opportunity go to waste? Why? So, Tucker did what Tucker has always done. Invited him, talked to him, put it out there, gain a lot of followings, or better still, make some money. And so comes the pressure. That is it. He doesn't believe in cancel culture, which is fine. He doesn't believe that people should be cancelled or censored, which is good. But he is totally against DEI, and he was quoting DEI out of context. That is also true. That is also true. So listen, my whole point of doing all this is that we all must realize that sometimes we, the common people, take things to the very extreme. That people just do what benefits them. That people at the top just look out for them, for themselves. And this whole thing with Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson will blow out very soon. And no one would even be talking about it. The only reason that Nick is facing, or Tucker Carlson is facing all this backlash, is because he platformed someone whom is known to be a critic of APAC, a critic of the Israelis government, and somehow is someone who wouldn't go along with certain things. That is where the problem is. People can talk against slavery as they want, no one cares. People can criticize the American government as they want, no one cares. People can call Africa a banana republic as Trump has done, no one will care. But if you dare talk against APAC, if you dare criticize APAC and the influence it has on the American government, if you dare talk about Benjamin Netanyahu's war in Gaza and how the Gazans are being starved to death, then you have crossed a red line and all bets are off. All bets are off. You know, even this guy from the Heritage Foundation who came out supporting Tucker Carlson has been brought to his knees. The guy is not apologizing for what he said. This just goes to tell you how powerful some of these bodies or think tanks or groups are. This just goes to tell you how powerful they are. If you cross them, they will crush you. There is nothing in between. If you cross them, they'll crush you. So, Tucker Carlson should be well aware of this. And I'm sure he does know all these things because he is way smart. He is so smart. I mean, Tucker Carlson is one of the smartest people in the whole world. I know sometimes he plays dumb. I understand that. But he is way more smart. He is way more talented. He knows about all this. And I'm sure he is going to weather it till the end. So let's wish him all the best.